Alright, so this is the new acquisition just got today. I traded my slash 4x4 for this, and the body is rough. It was not, it was beat the hell out of. So this is the back here. This is the K5 Blazer. Front is in horrible shape. The body's going to go away. It is completely shot. So we're still going to clean it up nonetheless, just because. Here's the inside. This was in a guy's storage unit. He hadn't drove it in several months, but it looks like it's been, from the cobwebs I initially cleaned out already, it's been a while. So this is it before. We're gonna do a couple before and after here. A very small. This is a 20. I don't know what size can this is, but it is not a 3650. It's a brushless system they put in. He's got a fire hazard just sitting here. This was his LiPo battery. Very nice guy. It worked for what he had. So, but yeah, so it's these clips went on the ends of his Dean's connector. So this fire hazard is going to go straight outside and probably just set off, because I don't trust sorting in my trash can. I'm probably just going to let it ignite on its own and be done with that. There's those joints in there. Bad things are going to happen with this. This is not going to stick around. But yeah, so everything works. So we confirmed everything's functional when I got it, or I went up there and met him. But yeah, so what's going to happen, this is going to get a simple green spray down. This bead lock here popped out, so it's not torn, thank God. These are the Hyrax knockoffs. These feel horrible. They feel chalky, and they're not even super dirty. So these are going to go bye-bye as well. It's got bead locks, so I'm happy with that. But look at the state of this thing. So my last video, I did not mention that the bath it gets is not WD-40. It is actually simple green. It gets hosed down, gets hit with the brushes, and then once all that's done, everything gets hit with WD-40, which helps dry stuff off, and then it also prevents it from rusting further. So this is everything we got here. This stuff is crusty. So we're going to go upstairs, we're going to get busy. Look at that drive shaft. That is, the screw is backing out right here somewhere and cutting a groove in there, so we're going to check that out as well. So yeah, we're going to do another deep dive into a Trx4 K5 Blazer. It's a new acquisition. I got another one coming, should be here Tuesday or Wednesday. And looking forward to doing that video as well, and we'll do a deep dive into that as well. My last deep dive video did pretty good, so we're going to do a couple more and see how it goes. This motor is going to go by the wayside. It did come with 1080. It came with the XL5. There's a Globact 21 and a Titan 12, which is going to go back in it. I need to redo the wire on that and go from there. So we're gonna stop here. I'm gonna go upstairs, get this pre-treated, and start getting it soaking, and we'll be back later. Thanks, guys. All right, so we're back. We gave it a nice bath with simple green, various brushes, and everything else, and that is what we got. It came nice and clean. There's still some spots we need to hit, but I need to get the transmission out and start diving deeper into this. These brushes, Dollar Tree, you can't go wrong. So we got the wheels off, got it cleaned. We're gonna get this ESC pulled out here real quick. So we're gonna pop this out and see what we got. The electronics on this were sketch. I mean, completely sketch. I got the battery outside. I don't even want it in my house, just to try and be safe. That is not good. There's crimp connectors, little spade connector things on there everywhere. After the simple green bath, let's get back to that real quick. So I keep this piece of cardboard here underneath, and then I get some WD-40, I put it in this lid, and then I just use a paintbrush and just soak everything. And look what it does to those plastics compared to what this looked like earlier. But let's get the cardboard out of the way here. Get that out of there. Let's go ahead and start getting this ripped open a little more. So that screw's missing. That is a Phillips, that's a Phillips, that's a Phillips. Okay. So that makes sense. Not sure what the deal is there. I've got all those screws I can replace with what they should be. So that's a plus. But I understand that the guy was on hard times, and not going to hold it against him. He did what he had to do to get it to work. More power to him. But he's just lucky he didn't set his cell storage unit on fire with that battery. It was bad. Like I said, I would show you guys, but I'm not going to bring it back into my house. I've been there and done that already, and will not do that again. So there's the inside of the battery box. The O-ring is missing. It is not there. And then let's see what we got here. So that one out. So you had the grease inside, so that's cool. Help seal it up there some. And then that is just sitting there. Let's follow this up. Spaghetti. Let's get this WD-40 out of the way before I spill it all over the place. Okay, so got lots of servos and everything in here. We don't want to unplug those. Let's trace this. Number 2. Number 2 is out. Okay, so we just finished dropping the transmission, and that is out. Okay, we're going to leave this off because I'm going to get this cleaned up too, now that it's all separated. We got that case split open. And we're going to get rid of these screws here because those are not factory. Yeah, it's super impressed on how clean that came. Again, the simple green, scrub it off with the brush, a couple brushes, pat it dry a little bit, and then WD-40. Living Testament right there. You saw the before, this is the after. Up here, we still got some stuff. This is all hot glue. This thing was completely saturated in hot glue. And again, it worked. So, and that little bitty motor, he kind of liked it, but the motor's still in. There is zero resistance, and I mean zero resistance at all. Now through the wheels, there's more resistance, and when I spin the fronts, it does not spin the backs. So, but yeah, everything soaked WD-40 because, and I mean absolutely bathed. I soused this thing with the WD-40 because, well, all these screws here, up here, over here, on the inside over here, they're all rusty. So I'm probably going to order a complete replacement set. I don't know if you can see that one. And I feel like some of that stuff I washed off of here was road salt. I mean, it was bad. This is probably, I've seen rustier, but this is the rustiest I've come across here. Look at that right there. So all this is going to come apart. We're going to tear it completely down. I don't know how much of this I'm going to videotape because it's just a Traxxas. Everybody's seen them torn down. Oh, here we go. So the battery's outside. Here is the Hobbywing 1080. These are your connectors. So there's a splice there, and then the bullet connectors on the end of those splices. That's how it was wired to the battery. So yeah, not safe at all. There's still some hot glue on there. It needs to come off. Rubbing alcohol for hot glue, people, really works well. It gets underneath and just travels underneath and kind of separates where it's stuck onto. So yeah, that really helps. It's another thing I keep on hand down here. I've got a bottle over here just out of sight, and then I always keep the Simple Green down here with the brushes handy, ready to jump in and get busy. So I'm going to, man, I really want to do a time lapse. I'm working on getting a better camera to do all that. This camera is, yeah, they're not Trx4 shocks in the front. They are Trx4 shocks in the back, and they are bone dry. It might be a little bit in that one, but not enough to speak of. So I'm gonna get the motor pulled, take the battery tray out. We'll be back here in just a minute. Okay, so we got the battery tray loose. Get this scrap out of the way. Slide that forwards and then give it a little twist that way, and it pops out every time. There's some of the filth that couldn't reach there. That's why I was saying that the cleaning's not done. So you can see in the channel here, it's still pretty dirty. The transmission case is still pretty dirty. Man, there are different screws. It's supposed to be a 2. Let's see if it's a 2.5 maybe. Yep. So there is stuff everywhere here, which is going to prolong the video, which is what I didn't want to do. I was hoping I could keep this quick and get you guys in and out of here without burning a lot of time trying to change out bits every time I turn around here. Let's leave that bit in there. Let's just put it on. It's just one. We'll do it by hand. So we've had Phillips, we've had 2s, we've had 2.5s. Interested to see if we have a 3 here in a little bit, because why wouldn't we? But again, I get it. This dude that I got this from, God bless him, had some serious troubles in his life. He worked with what he had, and it worked. This did drive when I went to look at it. As decrepit as it looked, it did drive. So that was way long too. Get that one out. Okay, so there's our motor. Can't believe that pinion even fit on there, but it did. So, and this thing is soaked in oil and filings, lots and lots of filings in there as well. So that's cool. Put that out of the way. And if you look in there, how many screws do you see holding that? That's impressive. I believe I've got a couple of these that are extras. This one's, well, it's not necessarily chewed up, it's just disgusting. This was completely the raw motor for this. Doesn't have a name on it to what it is, but completely the raw motor. And I can't see what that is there. Let's get that off. At least that's a 1.5, so we got that. Nice, and it broke loose. Awesome. So this is going to go, I'm probably going to keep the ESC. The motor is too small for me to do anything with. But, yeah, what do you do? So that goes, scrap pile over there. Let's get my hands wiped off. Is it? Shit is gross. No longer need these 3 screws. I'll use one of those to replace for the battery tray. Put that over there. So, the pinion out of the way as well. And let's take a look at this transmission here. So now it feels way better. What does that tell you? There we go. So it was not quite engaged. The tension was not on it. There we go. Alright, so it's probably not so bad. I'm going to pause this. We're going to pull that transmission case out and get those ends cleaned up and the tray underneath of it cleaned up, along with those servos. You can see again exactly how dirty this baby was. But again, all the servos worked, so I'm happy there. That is a win-win on my book. I do have a couple micro servos here to replace, that I could replace with. Man, those front shocks are super oversprung. I mean, that is... I mean, there's dampening in there, but... I mean, that is a lot of weight to get that to come down. So we will be right back. Alright, so we got the top 2 screws out of the transmission. The drive shafts are completely out of phase. Again, none of this is really a big surprise. I mean, just look at what we got going on here. There's some super rusty screws inside there. I got those soaking. Right here and right here. They're just, you know, hold the servos in, but I got WD-40 sitting on them. It's got both the drive shafts free. This should... There we go. Get that rear off of there. I do have new drive shafts I can put in. The rear looks okay. The front's definitely going to have to go. Come on, baby, break free. Let's get this out. So channel 3, we're going to call it. It's the shift servo. We can get this out of here. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, sorry, there was a struggle bus there for a minute. So we got the wires out. For some reason, that does not want to break free. There we go. There it is. Let's throw this up there out of the way. There, it dropped in. Yeah, that spins, but we're going to get her spinning better and get this nice and clean. That needs to be completely disassembled. So that's what we're going to do next, and we will be right back. No, we're going to try to get this live here on camera. Sorry, I'm a little rambling. This has been a hell of a day. That's the 2.5. There's the 2. Let's see. Let's just get the servo out. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. It's Saturday currently here. just going to leave it just like that, and we'll brush it off later. Let's get a fresh paper towel down. Something that will help with contrast. That's what's going on here. Alright, well, nothing left to it but to do it. Should have cleaned that screw hole out. It's packed with all kinds of gunk, but we'll get it. Back of the case open. It is not as rusty as I thought it would be. It's a big plus in my book, but that did not want to come out. So there's that. Alrighty. Yeah, as you can see, we'll get it rotated later on, but completely out of phase. So that one's flat, and that one's sideways. Alright, let's finish splitting this baby open. Got 1, 2, 3 screws there, and we've also got the slipper clutch on still. This is a metal, so that's cool. So we can pull these out. They're going to fall out anyway. And we'll get our pins freed up. Always helps to have magnetic tools. Sometimes. So there's that. I feel like there is, yep, one more right there. That is why I keep this pick handy, because there's always some screws that need to be cleaned out. So I feel like I'm missing one. There's a shim from, okay, that shaft there. Got another one slipping off right here. So yeah, both those gears have their shims back. Alright, you guys, if you see it, tell me what I'm missing here. So there's 1, 2, 3, there's the fourth. It's probably just a slipper that needs to come out. Let me grab my wheel wrench. But yeah, I got about 20 feet of fishing string off of this as well. Let's put that right there to stop it. So it's definitely been around the lake. I feel like there's road salt everywhere. Was a lot of this. Yeah, I could be completely wrong. And I don't even think those are the crush washers. I think those are just, oh, there's 2 of them. There's 4. And just a washer on top of it. Okay. There's our slipper. The rear plate. Very rusty shaft. Get that out of the way. Alright, I'm missing something here. Is there just another screw buried in the mud I'm not seeing? 1, 2, 3. Flip it over. 4. Nothing. Nothing. the screws out. There's wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. This seems to be what's holding us up, but there's nothing there to hold it up. Alright, well, let's get some more crud off of here and I'll be right back. Alright, so one little screw weighed in there that was hiding from us underneath some gunk. Now that has seen some heat, it has seen some dirt, and that is almost bone dry. I mean, just absolutely bone dry. So, and that is just a light coating of rust all over everything. Not horrible, but this is all going to come out, get cleaned and re-greased. So we're going to get all this pulled out, and that is just there it goes. So to convince it to come out. Put that on, that back in. So there are those gears inside of the box. Just rust and grease. So we're gonna stop here. This is gonna go and get a nice bath and soak for a while first, because this is pretty grimy and gritty. I'm actually going to take all the bearings out, get those cleaned up as well, and start fresh. I mean, they feel decent. They spin. This is rubber tipped on this, so I can put them in the bearings and kind of, that feels good. That's decent. That is smooth as butter. That's pretty good. And that one's not bad. So yeah, we're gonna get those out. Get these two back here out. That one's not even fully seated. Ooh, you can hear that one. So, yep, we're gonna get those out and we're back in a little bit. Thanks. Okay, so we got the transmission casings in this simple green with a little bit of water in it, just so you don't have to fill the whole thing up. So just shake it around a little bit. As you can see, it's already getting discolored. So the bearings, these are your bearing casings or seals. This is the inside of the bearing. So when I test these, let's get a good one first. So I put my pick, and again, nice and quiet. Another one, even more quiet. Yeah, my hands are grubby, sorry, it's a lot of grease. So those are nice and quiet. Let's get a bad one, obvious bad one here. So put that in. And yeah, you can just feel it catching. There's another bad one here. You can hear it, and you can definitely feel it. It is grabbing all over the place there. It actually stopped there for a second, spinning through. So what I do here, you gotta be careful, because yeah. Let's get this. Let's try and center it there. So just get it right underneath the edge of that seal and get it to pop out. Oh, I broke the tip of my razor blade there. So I can get around here and still do it. There we go. Oh, I had it. So what you want to do is just split that without damaging the outside a whole lot. There it is. So this shield comes off. We'll set that aside with the other ones. And then let's look inside here. Let's get my camera to focus up. Look at that. So we've got one bearing. Is there another bearing in there? Two. Yeah, there's all bearings in there. It just feels disgusting. So let's clean the razor blade off again. And we'll pop this backside off. And then just pop off that easy. So you don't have to throw your bearings away. We're going to clean these. What we do is we sit those down, and then we're going to throw them in this little tray here for now. Let's finish getting these opened up. Just don't get too cocky with these X-Acto knives. Ask me how I know. But these bearings can be saved. I know a lot of people just don't even mess with them. But again, I like doing things on the cheap, even if it costs me a razor blade and the fingertip. I like to think it's worth it, because these bearings can be saved if we go through the cleaning process and they're not nice and smooth. I'm not out anything, you know. I got more bearings I can throw in. Thank God. I don't have to have the foresight to save some from old projects. That no there. This was definitely easier before I broke the tip of that blade flat. But now it's a nice pry tool. There it goes. So what we'll do is, you see we got these all sitting here. Let's get them up where they're in focus a little better. We're gonna take a little bit of WD-40 I keep in my squeeze bottle. And we're just going to let these sit for a while and let the WD-40 do its thing. But while it's out, let's try this really crusty one here with the WD-40. Already improved. You can see the rust coming out of my fingertips. It sounds better already. If that will focus, there it goes. These can be saved. Just the fact that it's been opened up and that WD-40 kind of flushed them out some. If you look in the bottom over here, you can already see a bunch of the dirt and crap in there. So that is a win-win. Yeah, this is probably the worst one here. And this may be too far gone to save, but we're going to try. Now later on I'll put this in the drill and I'll hold the battery and turn the drill on and let that just fling everything out of there for about maybe a minute. And there goes Larry, crybaby. Oh, and this feels great already. And that WD-40 is also getting some of that burnt on grease off of there. You can see it's silver again. That's feeling better already. And it's going to appear a little louder now that the seals are off of it. That's not necessarily that they're bad, but that seal actually muffles some of the sound. Yeah, there's a little bit of steel in there. You can hear, you can start to see coming out. But these are going to end up getting brushed out. Oh man, that feels really good there. That is smooth. That's a great improvement on that one. So anyway, we're going to stop there, and yeah, look at that puddle already forming here. So we're going to get that, we're going to pat those dry, wipe this out, give them another soak in the WD-40, and just let them sit for a while, and we'll be back after that. Alright, so it is the next day. We've got the parts that are soaked in the simple green. You can see everything separated at the bottom down there. I got it all mixed up now, but see what we got. I threw the seals for the bearings in here as well. That looks pretty darn good in there. Well, way better than it did. Let's say that. Let's see if I can reach. Oh, that brush. Sorry about that. Yeah, I have to have a different brush on that. So yeah, effectively that is pretty much done. We just got to get, now that it's pretty dirty simple green all over the place, just going to toothbrush all this stuff off and get it dressed up. But yeah, these are pretty much done, other than we're not going to bore you with that stuff. We are going to move on to the bearings, however. So these have had 3 rounds now of WD-40 in them, and you can see underneath of them here. Let's get a new section of paper towel here, and we're just going to pick these up. Look at that, just getting sucked out of there. Now, a few of these bearings recovered pretty nicely. Let's let that just soak up there. You can definitely tell the ones that didn't have the super dark tinge on them, like this one, compared to that one. Let's get a little closer, zoom in on that. There we go. That's better. Sorry about that. So, let's see how they sound now. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's a little more janky. Very nice. And this was probably one of the worst ones here, and that actually does not sound bad. I mean, it doesn't look the best, but it doesn't sound horrible anymore. However, I do have bearings I can replace these with, but these all are spinning freely. And I think I did this one already. Oh no, there's the worst one here. You can just hear it. So if worst case scenario, this one needs to go, that's not going to be a problem. Because there's no more sense in, well, look at that, just pulling out on my finger, that rusty WD-40 falling out. So some bearings aren't worth saving, and this is going to be one of them. So let's get that off of there, get that cleaned up a little bit. And I'll show you what we do with the drill. Reverse, there we go. So what we're going to do is put my fan motor oil. It's got a paraffin-based oil, so we'll put a few drops in there, in each bearing that we're going to attempt to save. I don't think that was one we wanted, but we'll do all of them anyway. So they've all got oil in them now. So we're going to put them on here. That actually feels really nice. It's good and smooth. Put it back down here. So we got coming out the back. Almost nothing. There we go. And that's it. So what we do now is we're going to let that sit outside the puddle of filth over here, and that will get another generous coating of oil, and that will just sit with the oil on it, and we'll throw the seals back on. That one feels really nice too. Just trying to dab out whatever gunk might fall out of it. There's my fingers are covered in it. So we're done with the WD-40 and the bearings now, and again, we're just at the paraffin-based stuff. And as you can see, it's no longer dripping out of there, but it is coated in there nicely. One more round. And that's it. So we're going to sit that on the outside here. Move on to the next one. And again, that one doesn't feel bad at all either. Get that stuff all over my fingertips here. And to my left over here, we've got a pile of paper towels pre-lined out. So we're going to call this one done as well. And we're down to our only two questionables. And I think this was, yeah, this was the super bad one here. Actually, it feels like that is not spinning. Yeah, it is. But what I'm getting here, this is actually getting warm. The other ones, there was almost, well, there is no warmth on them. And this one's already, yeah, a few degrees warmer. So we'll go to the next one. And that didn't feel bad. I think we can get some more use out of this one still. And on the discoloration on these, that's the what I was talking about, the heat generation. These were baked a little hotter. So whatever location these were in, I believe they were on the ends of the output shafts, if I remember correctly. So these took the majority of the heat, and that's your discoloration along with the rest. But all the other ones, as you saw, came nice and clean. So we're going to set these two aside. Well, no, I'm going to try and run this one. Not that one. This one. Yeah, this one isn't bad. I think with a little more therapy, this is going to be just fine. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to move on to getting these gears cleaned up, and we'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so the transmission is back together, nice and clean. Practically looks brand new, minus the couple of screw holes that are in here that shouldn't be. Let's see, what screw was that? There was a screw that was sunk in here that went into the transfer case. It was this one. Man, it was like 10 millimeters too long. So yeah, the screw that he had sunk in there was, which one was it? I guess I've already chucked it out because I'm never going to use it again. But yeah, it was multiple millimeters too long, and so that is, and officially opened up a cavity inside there. But it's back together. Everything spins nice and freely. All the gears are lubed up. Everything's cleaned up, looks brand new again. So, and a liberal coating of marine grease inside. Servo's hooked up, mounted up, wires already ready to be routed, and got the mesh on these, or the phasing correct on those as well. So we're going to move on and pull the rear axles off, links off, and jump into the rear axle and all that, and see what we got. My bench is quickly becoming completely cluttered here. That should be free. That's free. Oh, I didn't disconnect the servo. That's okay. We'll get that here in a second. So we'll be right back once we get that disconnected. I need both hands and the camera out of the way. Alright, here we go. So let's get these links out. And those are good and crusty. Might just hit those with some steel wool and spray paint them. Just, you know, there's no sense in replacing them. I mean, they're perfectly fine. It's just cosmetic. However, since the body on this is completely totaled out, my thinking is I'm going to take my Bronco and throw it on this chassis. I think because my Bronco started out as a Trx4 Sport, and those out of the way. So we got the shocks and just that. Let's go ahead and remove the drive shaft there. But yeah, so I feel like I want to do this thing right, as it should be, since it's full blown. Was the Blazer, you can just convert it to the Bronco. But we shall see, time will tell. My wife loves that phrase. I tell her to her all the time, fucking with her. Drives her nuts. So yeah, as you guys remember, this is what everything looked like earlier. So, man, that sounds kind of dry. Well, it can't be horrible. I can't imagine that. So let's get the ends of these little boogers here cleaned out, so we can actually get the tool in there to take them off. Got another RC coming later on this week. Brand new to me. It is used, but it's a classic. If anybody wants to guess, leave a comment. It's another Horizon product for the hints help you any. These little buggers are packed. Alright, so any guesses what we're going to find in here? Grease, no grease, lots of rust. Oh, here's the motor tray there. Got that all cleaned up. But Simple Green is some very good stuff. Alright, let's see what we got. Not bad. Not bad. Those don't look horrible. Although you can see some discoloration here. And none there, yeah, some there too. So yeah, those bearings look like they've been a little dry for a little too long. So we're going to rip these apart next, and we'll get back when this axle is reassembled, and we'll jump into the shocks. So it's just a Trx4. I know everybody's seen this before. Nothing new, innovating. So we'll be right back and try and get back to some more stuff. Alright, so got the axle back together, or the rear diff back together and greased up and ready. Pulled the portals apart, and the big main bearing was toast. This thing, well, this is the new one. It was complete garbage. That is nice and free, so that is good to go. And then, so it's got to get these two bearings back in place, and we should be all right. There's that one. Get her in there straight. There's that. Oh, what the hell did I do? There we go. Yeah, we'll get her figured out here in just a second here. So, that other bearing. Let's not repeat that, Bearback. Oh, nope. Let's go back to that. Okay, so there's that. Got the bearing back in there. Bearings in there, get the gear in there. Let's get some ring grease and get this baby lubed up. And then the face of the bearings here, I'm going to put just a little bit on that. Just to keep them sealed up from any future moisture. And we got it outside there, so it's gooping everywhere. Don't need any more because I got plenty on the other side that meshes to it. There. Now we didn't shoot a whole lot out the side, so we're good there. Again, working with grease. Always have a bunch of paper towels ready. Gone through about a quarter of a roll since we started this. Anything bearing related. So this outside, only thing that's going to go on this one, again, because grease will turn it into lapping paste. Nice resistance there. There we go. Grease spreading around. Nice and easy now. So we will get the... Don't knock everything off that shelf. We started to. That's really all you need to do is this little splash. Let her move around and soak in there. Wow. That really loosened it up a lot. I'm sure it's mixing with grease nicely. So let's get that wiped off, the excess. Yeah, this thing, he worked in an area with a lot of coal mines and stuff, so I'm assuming some of this is just ore rust. I don't know what this is, but yeah, that feels good. So let's get our screws relined out. So the new RC I'm getting has a K10 body on it. Anybody following along that knows some of the older model RCs came out that had K10s. Or is it a K5? Hell, I don't know. It's a K10. So that automatically puts it in Chevy territory. Let's get these zipped in here. Two on the other side. And all these rusty screws here are going to get some black paint shot on them here in just a minute. Once everything's reassembled, I'm going to wipe it down with some rubbing alcohol and take my black paint pen out, not a Sharpie, and everything will be hit with it. Alright, there's one done. And that does feel pretty nice. So, no complaints there. Let's crack this other one open here. As you can see, this is it. So let's wipe the, yeah, see this, the obvious stuff I'm wiping off, it's gross. I just keep one gross one and just keep spreading it around there. So that doesn't look horrible on the outside, and it doesn't feel horrible either. I'm just guessing it's pretty dry inside. There was just a splash of grease in the first one, so we're going to be doing a review on some shocks here before too long. Those came in today. So probably going to end up putting those on the deadbolt. goes. They are still leaking. Well, 2 are leaking profusely. And I don't like that, so, and these shocks, let's jump this real quick there. I'm not sure what kind of suspension he was going for here, but man, I tell you what. Spring retention's good, but there's almost no dampening in that one at all. Even less than that one. So, I mean, I got screws laying everywhere. Looks like I absolutely missed on my table. Good thing about Trx4 though, once you've taken one apart a couple times, yeah, that is almost bone dry in there. I mean, just a light smattering, or slathering, a smear, if you will. A smear of grease on the inside. So we're going to help this baby out real quick. Yeah, and there was, so yeah, rear axle. So yeah, this side, I think, yeah, fishing string. Lots and lots of fishing string I pulled off of here, probably at 10 feet already. So I'm hoping that didn't smoke my bearings too awful bad there. There's that. Put the pick in here. Oh yeah, that fishing string's actually melted to the plastic on the hub there. Boo. Damn. This is better than a wad of pubes, isn't it? Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, so we're moving on to the shocks now. We got the ones that were off the truck filled and readjusted. These springs are a little much, but it does rebound nicely. Not too aggressive. You can tell, even in the rebound, you can tell it's dampened. Alexa, pause. Sorry about that. This one's a little, seems like it's a little more springy. They got the exact same amount of oil in it and burped them, did everything right. So those are both done. Again, let's see if I can get the one on the left here, if you watch it. Definitely springs back. This did not come with the factory springs on it, so I guess there's pretty much no hope for that unless I order some. But again, I've got brand new shocks here I can throw on there if I wanted to. But I was wanting to show you guys the whatever the shock oil here is supposed to be. I thought I had another pre-dirty paper towel, but I guess we'll burn through this one too. Let's see what we got here. Black. Just black shock oil is what we have. So what I've been doing is getting as much of that out of there as I can. I don't really feel like they need to be broken down. I mean, the shock shaft, it feels fine. There's no catching, no nothing. It's just the oil's horrible, and that's about it. So I am going to reach in here with the Q-tip and get what I can out of there off the top of the shock, and then push that back in and just kind of just ream it out there a little bit. So yeah, but it looks good in there. There's no real bad, well, I can't say that either. The Let's do a small shot of WD-40 through there. No, because it's going to swell O-rings. We won't do that. Don't put WD-40 on O-rings. Unless you're trying to swell some kind of O-ring. Yeah, we didn't do it on the first two. We're not going to do it on the next two. So yeah, that's what we got. I have some Team Associated 50. I've got some 90. I've got some Element 300, which is pretty much 30. So we're going to go 30 weight on it. I gave away my Trx4 oil. I've got some more floating around here somewhere. But yeah, it's about 2/3. Here we go. So what you want to do is get that in there and then push it up and back down a couple times. Make sure there's no air bubbles in. So yeah, it's nice smooth travel in there. It's alright. And these are emulsion shocks. So you just do what you can to burp as much air out of it as you can. Let's see how that one's going to feel. Yeah, even all the way up, we're not going to spill a whole lot. Ideally, you want to sit and let these burp out for about 10-15 minutes. Yeah, I probably should have done that to begin with anyway. But anyhow, you live and learn. I was hoping for a fast one. The first one I did, got it slammed together instantly, and everything just fell into place. Beautiful rebound on it. And after you sit down here a couple hours dicking around with the car, you're just like, let's try and speed through this one. Maybe it'll work this time. But that's what happens when you cut corners. It never works out that way. So now we're just about empty again. A few more drops here. And again, it's just shocks, so it's nothing new, groundbreaking. So I'm going to get past this part and we will, I guess, hang the back axle up again here in a little bit. Thanks. Okay, so this next step is, you see these links, how rusty and nasty they are. So I took off the ends on each one. Just the rear so far. I haven't got the fronts off yet. But I was going to order some new ones. But you know what? That wouldn't be doing it on the cheap like I like to do it. But yeah, these are crusty. So we get the... So what we're going to do is, we got it in the drill. And that's what it looks like after we do what we're about to do. So we got a Scotch-Brite, green Scotch-Brite. And then, well, let's get it a little tighter. There we go. Now, just hold it there. Run it up and down there a couple times. There we go. And that worked out just in time. I almost chewed my threads up there. That could have sucked. So, now those are done. And this one's already been wiped down with alcohol. So we'll do this, well, let's do them both at the same time. So after you do that, you want to degrease it the best you can. So, now they're nice and clean. The rust is off of them. Got a couple dark spots on it, but that's not going to matter. Perma blue. So I've done quite a few guns, and this stuff I do not like. Just for that reason you just saw there. As soon as you open it, it's wanting to spooge out all over the place. But I just lay a nice little bead, about like that, on the piece of cloth. And then you take this, and you don't squeeze it or anything. You just sit it down in there. Kind of rotate it around and make sure all the surfaces are covered with it. And you can see silver on this end, black on that end. So now we're just going to sit that aside here for a minute and just let it sit for about 1 minute. And then we're going to rinse it off with a wet rag. A little bit more for the next one. It's not going to take a lot. So we'll just re-upped on that. Again, silver here. And you can repeat this multiple times if you want to get it darker and darker. So there's that one. And go back to our first one here. And we're just going to kind of wipe it off with the same rag we applied it with. And voila. So I'm going to hit this twice and they will be good to go. This is the first that I did. Turned out beautifully. So yeah, that's this is an $8 tube. At least it was, God, 10 years ago when I bought it. It lasts forever. Birchwood, Casey, Perma Blue, Gun Paste Blue. So just be careful with the stuff. It does stink a little bit. I'm not going to give you a Karen warning. Oh, the well ventilated area. Just don't squirt it in your eyes. You'll be just fine. Okay, so we've got everything back together. We've got the motor in, the transmission's mounted, all the wiring done. So we cut all those down. Got just one solder joint on each. Soldered those on for the battery leads. The bird nest spaghetti bomb you see that's gone off here, we're going to get tucked away. We're going to do some cable management over here, but everything's together. However, I did run into this, which I didn't have this problem when I got it. So forwards on the trigger, reverse on the wheels, reverse, forwards. So we're going to have to do some switching around here. Gear switch. So that works, and then the diff locks work. So we're good there. Everything's buttoned up. I just got to switch the controller settings around, so we're good there. Let's see what else I want to cover. Okay, so the shocks in the back. We're back to all 4 stock Trx4 shocks. They feel really good. Nice spring rate to them. The springs here, I don't know what they're off of, but they're pretty decent. And it's got, if I sit it down, just enough settle to it. Nothing major, but yeah, it feels good. It's not oversprung, not undersprung. Nicely dampened. Went with the Canyon Trails instead of the Chirax, Chinese Hyrax that were on it. And I guess that's about it. I've got a blue Trx4 sport body I was debating on throwing on here, or throwing my Bronco on here, which I could do either. I mean, it's not that beat up. I mean, look at the scratches on the bottom of that. There's not a lot. This thing was used, I know, on a snowy road with where his county put down rock salt, and that explains all the rust and everything that was on here. The links look really good after they were blued. So when I did get done doing the cold blue on them, I did put them in give them a little bit of bath up with WD-40 to help give them some extra protection. So that's done. There's really nothing else to do with this other than slap a body on it and just drive the shit out of it. And that's what I intend to do, hopefully tonight, maybe tomorrow. My new RC is coming in tomorrow. My new to me, is coming in tomorrow, so I want to get this wrapped up tonight. I want to get my deadbolt wrapped up tonight with the new shocks I'm putting on it. And we'll show you those shocks here in a little bit. But yeah, there's really nothing else left to do with this. Some stuff I did cover, some stuff I didn't cover. I mean, it gets old watching people solder. It's like watching paint dry. Shooting 25 screws in the portals, that gets old. So we skipped that part, you know, just that little stuff. We did put a new drive shaft in, the front one I have put away already, but the screws underneath here were shot in way too long in the transmission, so they went all the way through the mount down here. So it was, every time the transmission went up, it would rub against the edge there. So that was cool. But anyway, that's all replaced. It's neither here nor there. It's done, it's fixed, and ready to go. So we're going to call this one a wrap. If you have any questions, anything I did wrong, let me know. And we'll try to address whatever issues may come up with it. But as of right now, everything works, minus, again, the controller. Forwards is reverse, reverse is forwards. So we're going to have to definitely switch that out. But other than that, we're going to call this baby done. The servo on it's decent, but once you put a load on the front, let's get that back up a little bit. A little more. Here we go. And rubber mat, so it's a little more grippy than dirt, but it definitely slows it down a bit, and it doesn't like it. So we got a new servo coming for that too here soon. But yeah, so I will get off here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. Tell your mom about it, tell your sister about it, tell your brother about it. And yeah, you guys have a good one. We'll see you soon. Alright, so this is the new acquisition just got today. I traded my Slash 4x4 for this. And the body is rough. It was beat the hell out of. So this is the back here. This is the K5 Blazer. The front is in horrible shape. The body's going to go away. It is completely shot. So we're still going to clean it up nonetheless, just because. Here's the inside. This was in a guy's storage unit. He said he hadn't drove it in several months, but it looks like it's been, from the cobwebs I initially cleaned out already, it's been a while. So this is it before. We're gonna do a couple before and after here. A very small. This is a 20. I don't know what size can this is, but it's not a 3650. It's a brushless system they put in. He's got a fire hazard just sitting here. This was his LiPo battery. Very nice guy. It worked for what he had. So, but yeah, so it's these clips went on the ends of his Dean's connector. So this fire hazard is going to go straight outside and probably just set off, because I don't trust sort it in my trash can. I'm probably just going to let it ignite on its own and be done with that. There's those joints in there. Bad things are going to happen with this. This is not going to stick around. But yeah, so everything works. So we confirmed everything's functional when I got it, or I went up there and met him. But yeah, so what's going to happen, this is going to get a simple green spray down. This bead lock here popped out, so it's not torn, thank God. These are the Hyrax knockoffs. These feel horrible. They feel chalky, and they're not even super dirty. So these are going to go bye-bye as well. It's got bead locks, so I'm happy with that. But look at the state of this thing. So my last video, I did not mention that the bath it gets is not WD-40. It is actually simple green. It gets hosed down, gets hit with the brushes, and then once all that's done, everything gets hit with WD-40, which helps dry stuff off, and then it also prevents it from rusting further. So this is everything we got here. This stuff is crusty. So we're going to go upstairs, we're going to get busy. Look at that drive shaft. That is, screw is backing out right here somewhere and cutting a groove in there, so we're going to check that out as well. So yeah, we're going to do another deep dive into a Trx4 K5 Blazer. It's a new acquisition. I got another one coming, should be here Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm looking forward to doing that video as well, and we'll do a deep dive into that as well. My last deep dive video did pretty good, so we're going to do a couple more and see how it goes. This motor is going to go by the wayside. It did come with 1080. It came with the XL5. There's a Globact 21 and a Titan 12, which is going to go back in it. I need to redo the wire on that and go from there. So we're going to stop here. I'm going to go upstairs, get this pre-treated and start getting it soaking, and we'll be back later. Thanks, guys.